I have a confession to make. I have saved every single video project from the time I began my freelance filmmaking career over 10 years ago. It amounts to over 45 hard drives and well over 100 terabytes of video content. It's true, I'm a digital hoarder. There were no contracts that bound me to this footage, and I never made any kind of commitment to my clients that I'd hold on to this stuff for any length of time. It really started because as a freelancer, I didn't know if I'd need to reference those files in the future or not. Instead of throwing them away or wiping the content of the drives, I collected and stored them in my closet. This went on for years. So I held on to them just in case I needed to access them later on. And every once in a while that was true, but for the most part, they just sat there by themselves in my closet, completely untouched. And then something happened. I stopped doing freelance work completely and I started my YouTube channel. But for some reason, I just couldn't part with those drives. Years after filming my last wedding, after working on local television commercials and bar mitzvah intro videos, I still kept these drives stored away in my closet. I rarely ever even looked at them, but I had this strange emotional connection to those dust-covered pieces of plastic and metal. It was more than just ones and zeros. They represented a decade worth of hard work, commitment, doubt, and triumph. Anyone who has ever started a business or dedicated themselves to their passion will understand. Every email, every pitch, every round of revision, every big win and painful loss sits on those drives. Forgive me as I do my best version of Carl Sagan's pale blue dot, but there was just something about these drives that I was attached to. I couldn't get rid of them. All that work, looking at them, understanding what it took to fill each and every single one of those drives, I just couldn't let go. And also deep down inside, I thought that maybe one day I'd actually need them. And then, just this morning, an old client sent me an email asking me if I happened to have a project from 2014. He told me that the company's YouTube channel had recently been deleted and no one was able to save the file. This was the moment I'd been waiting for the past 10 years. All those years of hoarding my drives, and they were finally going to be put to use. I approached the closet looking for the drive in question, Catalyst A5. When I found the drive and pulled it out, my heart sank. These drives were connected via an outdated Firewire 800 cable and old USB connections. So I frantically searched through my cable drawer. Nothing. And then I pulled down my cable bin. It's true, I'm a cable hoarder as well. And after going through every last cable and wire, I miraculously found the right combination that I needed to connect it to my current laptop. I powered up the drive, my fingers crossed, and it worked. I browsed through my client folders, and I was able to recover the file he was looking for. I was probably looking for a distraction this morning when I got that email and when I decided to go on this hunt for both the right cable and the right hard drive to find the right project for the right old client. But there was something about being able to be of service and help to somebody, to be able to be the only person in the world to solve this one very minute and trivial problem. It felt really good. It felt good to hopefully brighten somebody else's day, but also to lift my own. While I had this hard drive open, I got a little bit distracted and started to look back at some of those early projects. It gave me an opportunity to reminisce and reflect about those early days. The days when I was just getting started out and really didn't know where this was all going to lead. And it put a lot of things in perspective. Looking back at those old projects reminded me of two really important things that have helped me to get to the place where I am now in both my life and my career. First, put everything you have into everything you do. When I look back at some of those early projects, it's amazing to me the amount of time and energy that I spent working on some of those early projects. It didn't matter to me if my audience was 2 people or 2 million people. I always wanted to make the best possible video or best possible project I could. And it didn't matter who was watching it. I just wanted to be able to deliver. And a lot of that came from the fact that I was truly passionate and truly dedicated to wanting to improve as a filmmaker. And so having that kind of attitude, not feeling like I was ever too good for anything or too good to work with anybody, really helped me to progress, to grow, and learn early on when I really didn't have that many opportunities and I didn't really know where my career was gonna go. And the second thing that it reminded me of is actually a counterpoint to the point that I just made, and it's don't take yourself so damn seriously all the time. Now that I have some distance from these projects, some of them 8 to 10 years distance, I realized that I was probably stressing, anxious, frustrated. I took myself way too seriously back in those days. Obviously, there's a point. There's a point to where that seriousness allowed me to do the best version of those videos as I possibly could. But I was far too hard on myself in those early days. And sometimes the only thing that I really needed and the only thing that I wish that I had given myself was a break. These moments are temporary. The failures, the mistakes, the miscommunications and mishaps, they're all very finite. They end and eventually people move on, and it's okay to screw up, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to really be uncertain about where you're going to go as long as you continue to show up and try your best. And so understanding that perspective, understanding that in a few years' time, I'm gonna be thinking that same way about my current version of myself, realizing that I really should be giving myself a break with all of these projects that I work on today has really helped to put things in perspective for me. And I do wanna mention that I realize that I'm not actually a hoarder. I don't think it's a bad thing that I hold on to these hard drives. Of course, I constantly ask that question as I practice minimalism 8 to 10 years now from when I first got into it. Does this thing add value to my life? Is this something that I'm truly using and will continue to use? And if not, you can let go. But then there's always gonna be those things that are kind of in the middle ground, whether it's a sentimental item or it's something that you just truly don't wanna part with right now, even though you don't find use in it. That is absolutely, completely okay. So I might not touch any of these hard drives for another 10 years, but if that's what it takes to come through for my clients, that's what I'm willing to do. All right, who am I kidding? I'm doing this for me because in life, there are some things that are worth holding on to. You know, before I wrap this video up, I do have to actually make one thing very clear because I know it's gonna be all over the comments down at the bottom. The tattoos on my arm right here, they're pretty dope, right? That one's like a naked mermaid. It's really cool. And that's a taco, and that's a pizza, and they're fake. Natalie and I got really bored, so we bought some fake tattoos. And actually, I'm not gonna lie, like legit, I like it. I'm into the look. I might actually get some real tattoos.